Well, it's Sunday night, everyone, and unfortunately, things are not all right. Party Poker is down at the moment, so hopefully some of you will join us. I'm not sure how long we'll be on for tonight, but we certainly wanted to come on and catch up sort of on the latest, as it were. Leigh, what can you tell us thus far as to what's going on? Yeah. Sorry for throwing you that.
We may still be having
brick.
the same sort of face. No. I said, I thought we may still be having the same sort of Facebook live streaming problems that we seem to be having. I'm getting kind of interruptions on that, but yeah. So about half an hour or so ago, Party Poker started having login issues across their platform, as they tend to do when that happens, because it means some players are in, some players aren't in. They tend to just put a blanket pause on the tournaments that are running live, so they can try and work out what the hell's going on. They're still trying to address that now. I think they may well have done a couple of possible server restarts or bits and pieces, because I've seen things flicking in and out. Tournaments are still paused at the moment. We'll get to a point. Unfortunately, this has happened on the odd occasion in the past. I know everyone piles in with oh no, not again and everything, but I mean, we've been running leaderboard ladders for 38 weeks. Before that, we were running poker squads. So we've been running daily tournaments on Party Poker now for about 18 months. And I can't honestly think of that many times where we've had anything major go on, where we've had the odd problem with a tournament or something like that, but I cannot think of many situations on a Sunday night where we've had a complete blanket problem with a tournament. So we'll wait and see what happens.
Whoa. We can't defend them, right? We can't defend them. It's like walking into Tesco and somebody in a blue top start throwing Kellogg's cornflakes boxes at you. It's mad on a Sunday night. Obviously, they're frustrated. We're frustrated. The players are right smack in the middle of it all. I'd hate to still be on a final table or something and it all falls over. So, all we can do is apologise. You're right. There hasn't been a huge amount of issues, but there have been too many. Now, the one thing that I would say is that it doesn't matter whether you're playing at Party or GG or PokerStars or wherever else. Ultimately, issues happen, right? It's a tech world.
You done? Yeah.
Carry on now. I've thrown my brick.
Beautifully thrown, by the way, if you don't mind me saying so. Absolutely beautifully thrown. Yeah. So so we're waiting as much as we're waiting as much as you are, and I've got a feeling we've got a delay back on our audio and stuff again tonight. So we may well really not be on for very long at this rate.
It's all happening.
The way we're looking. So everything is still paused. Des is right though. I mean, it's not great for players. It's nothing more frustrating than when you're in tournaments and they have these problems, and we are all reliant on technology these days, but it isn't great. And he is right. All we can do is apologize. Unfortunately, I wish we had more news or be able to give you more information at the moment. But of course, as is the way when these things happen, everyone's bombarding, trying to find out what's going on. Sometimes the best thing to do is you just got to leave them to get on with it and find a solution. And as soon as we know anything, we'll be able to let you know. But we may well not even be on the stream for as long as that, because as I say, it's still paused at the moment. But if you're out there and you're in the chat and you want to pop something in the chat, let us know, say hello. If you've got any views or thoughts on it, we're here. We're nothing if not balanced when it comes to poker providers and anything that goes on. Yes, we've got a partnership with Party Poker, but at the end of the day, everyone's open to some criticism if the service that's being provided is not what you expect. So pop in the chat. Let's know your thoughts, or even just to say hello. Steve 40's in the chat. So
there's a few
to know
people.
what the F is happening.
Yeah, there's a few people out there. Derek Lawman is there. Peter Wigglesworth is there. Richard Rudling Smith is there. As you said, Mr. Steve is trying to find out what the hell is happening. We'd like to know too. Triss is there. Steve asked me, did I cheer for Man United today? Yes, I did. Very much so. Don Logan is there. Tony Ross, Dean Pearson, David Madden is there. So lots of people in and watching. Do you know why, Leigh? Do you know why there's lots of people in and watching? Because they want to know what's going on. And unfortunately, we don't have the answers. But maybe we could talk to one or two of you, right? What do you think, Leigh? Shall we I mean, if one or two of you would like to come on the show, we can have a chat.
We can certainly do that.
We can talk poker. We can talk, well, we can talk anything you want to. So how would you do that? Just go to your browser, either on your phone or on your laptop, and type in chant.uk and go through the little process to give us permission to view your camera and your mic, and you'll be on the show. Have a go. We'd love to hear from you. Maybe we'll get Steve on to talk football, Leigh.
This could be very interesting. Have you bolstered up the security on the door for tonight? Yeah, are we going to be okay with this?
It's listen. I mean, you know, why wouldn't we invite more technical problems? Let's just have it all done and to be done with tonight.
Yeah, I mean, let's get APAT reunion in the studio. What could possibly go wrong? So yes, so Steve's in the chat saying Des, you must be scared. You know, I must admit, when I heard about United's potential new interim manager, I thought, great, we're signing Jeff Goldblum, and we're going to end up with Thor playing centre back. But then realised the spelling wasn't quite there. So
yeah,
it's going to be exciting times. United,
listen,
I think for the rest of the season.
I mean, I think he'll be a great signing for them, but you're not going to see the benefit in the short term. I think you're going to see the benefit longer term. I mean, United won't finish 10th in the league or 9th or 8th. It just simply won't be that bad this season. I'm sure they'll still come back and make a bloody good run at top 4. But I think the real benefit of this guy will be seen next season when they've been through one or two transfer windows, and when he starts to weed out those guys who weren't willing to run for Ollie, of which I suspect there are a few. What do you think, Leigh?
But they're not going to have much choice now. They're not going to have a huge amount of choices. If they're not prepared to run, that's his game. Rock and roll football, I think, is very much it. So is very much the way he goes about doing these things. So it's going to be run or seal. There's the door. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. But a very decent result today. Sure. Away at Chelsea. Delighted to see you getting a point there. At one point, it looked as if you might even squeeze 3 out, which would have been incredible. But it has to be said, for the last 10, 20 minutes, it looked like 1 would be a great result.
Yeah, the penalty was unfortunate. I know they say it's sloppy, but Wan-Bissaka he's gone to clear the ball, not even realizing there's a player there. And by the time he's taken a swing to clear the ball, obviously, still very cleverly just got himself in between the two, and has then taken a whack. So it was I thought it was very well played for penalty, and he stayed down long enough to make sure that it was going to get given. So it was,
well, in fairness, I think the ref gave it fairly quickly. I remember one being given against Andy Robertson for doing exactly the same thing. He's just a little bit blindsided, took a swing at the ball, and another player's foot is there. You certainly wouldn't blame the defender. It's
a clever thing to do. Yeah.
I don't even know if it's super clever. I mean, I just think the attacker was going for the ball and he was just a split second ahead. I think it is a cruel penalty to give, but it's probably a penalty. But you always feel unfortunate.
If you're against one of those. Do about it. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the big Chelsea defender, crikey, I can't remember his name now. 6 minutes into injury time, he nearly nicked it. Rudiger, he had quite a chance there.
Yeah, Rudiger, yeah. He's had quite a feisty game, actually. He was properly kicking off over with a few players at one point. I don't know quite what was going on there.
He was into absolutely everything. Leigh, did you see that Daniel Negreanu spent over $1 million in World Series of Poker buy-ins and made around $400K in profit? Now, Steve's mentioned this on the forum. He's mentioned it in the chat box. That's a pretty good return. I mean, it's a high-risk game, but a pretty decent return on that risk.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely like the fact that he's prepared. We always have the discussion, don't we? It's like, oh, poker player wins X $1 million. Yeah, but how much did they lose trying to win that? Yeah, we always have that conversation. I do like the fact Negreanu's put it out there and just gone, okay, well, this is what everything that I bought into.
Yep.
And this is what I ended up on the series. it's a nice, I guess it's a nice profit. Is it a nice return? Really, percentage wise over that period of time? I don't know the time that he will have put into it and effort. I don't. He probably might not see it as a great return. I think most poker players would think it as great. If I'm out of the World Series for that length of time and I end up 400k in profit, absolute result. Negreanu, would you think Negreanu would see that as a successful series?
Probably. I mean, in that, it'll have met some financial objectives, I'm sure, because it will be quite easy and yet soul destroying to have finished the series down. But obviously he hasn't won a bracelet. Ultimately, that's where the real success measure is. But I would have thought, he would have been quite relieved probably, because he obviously didn't have the best of series. But nonetheless, nearly 500k up.
Well, as I said the other week, I said it just felt very quiet that you didn't hear much about him at the World Series this year. Helmuth seemed to be absolutely everywhere, but Negreanu was very, very much under the radar. Yeah,
all over it. So listen, guys, you want to join us, right? You want to come on screen, whether it's just audio or whether you want to share your video and, come and talk to us, just do it. I mean, let's, do it for 5 or 10 minutes. To do so, just go to your browser and type in chance.uk. And hopefully that will pretty much bring you to a very straightforward process to get on with us. So yeah, we'd love to talk to somebody. That'd be great.
Oh, we're doing shout outs now, Des.
Are we doing shout outs?
Seeing the chat, yeah.
Oh, please give a shout out for Hannah. My daughter, she is 17 on the 12th of December. But we're taking her to Aston Villa on Wednesday to see Villa versus Man City. Very nice. Happy birthday in advance to Hannah. 17.
I'm not sure as a Villa fan you'd want to be. I don't know. City.
Well, she's got Stevie G now. Although you're quite. I mean, two wins out of 2, right?
Yeah. I'm assuming that's Grealish back at Villa for the first time. Yeah, would be.
It would be. And I'm pretty excited because I think on December the 9th, it might even be the 11th, but whichever of those is the Saturday.
That's the 11th.
That's the 11th. Okay, well, the day before Hannah's birthday, Stevie G comes back to Anfield with his Villa team, and I do have a ticket for that one, so I shall be there for the return.
Well, he will get a ridiculously good reception, won't he?
Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I'd have thought so.
Until his team do you over 1-0 with some late goal off someone's backside, and then you might not be quite as popular.
Yeah, listen, Leigh, we're getting some bad news in here. This is from Nick Durgis, and Nick is saying, with sincere apologies, we are unable to resume tournaments quickly enough this evening. Therefore, we are cancelling the games and our refunds policy comes into effect. Sums will be paid within 48 hours. So presumably that is a response that Nick's had back from Party Poker customer services. I can see that my tables or my events have now loaded up so I can see them, but clearly things are being cancelled all over the place according to that message. So thanks for posting that, Nick. Not particularly good.
Yeah, so that's just gone up in the Party Poker UK and Ireland by our very own Tighty, Mr. Richard Prout, has just posted that up about 5 minutes ago, exactly as Nick worded there. To be fair, Des and I were having a quick chat before we came on, and I said I kind of thought that's the way it would end up going. Unfortunately, that's normally the way. So just to clarify what we do from an APAT point of view in this situation with the bits and pieces that we run, Party Poker will sort out any refunds for the tournaments that you were in that were APAT related, and that is as per their standard T's and C's, which is normally a mixture of, depending on whether you're obviously still in the tournament, there's an element which is done based on ICM and an element based on just the number left in the tournament. So you can see all of the details on their website if you want to have a look at it. But they are very good at getting that sorted. Obviously, bear in mind, and this is not apologizing for that or anything whatsoever, but it's a Sunday night. There's a lot of tournaments. The fact that they've made the decision to looks like cancel everything, there's going to be a lot of admin that they're going to be working through, to say the least. What we do from a point of view of leaderboard ladders is basically, the tournaments just don't count for this week's leaderboard ladders, and we'll be done for the week with the leaderboard as it was last night. I know that is not great for everybody because some people will only play on a Sunday night. I will have a look at the leaderboard and see whether there's a decision there to freeze people's steps for this week or not, and whether we'll give you a free week on the same step that you're on. It really depends on whether Tony Ross is anywhere near the top 20, to be honest.
Let's bounce him down. Let's bounce him down to step 2 if we can, Leigh. Let's just keep him down.
If we can give him a little nudge down, we might do that if we can. But we'll have a look. But I think in all seriousness, normally I say the fairest thing to do with this will be is I'll look to freeze anybody that wasn't in the top 20 on whatever step that they're on for next week. We can just about cover that off if we can't. I mean, it might be Des's kids don't get toys for Christmas. There is that possibility, but hey, it's a small sacrifice to make for the APAT community, so that'll be okay. We can cope with it. It'll be fine.
We can definitely cope with it. Gee. I mean, where do we go to now, Leigh? Where do we go to now? We've had decisions now.
Well, what I can do first of all is I'll just let you know that and to be fair, the guy that's top of the leaderboard as of last night, I think might have struggled to have been caught anyway, to be perfectly honest, because Mark Winsell is 50 odd points ahead at the top. He's had 4 caches this week. Gary Young was in second place. Yanni was in third. Marcus Meadows was in fourth, and Heribert.
Leigh. Let's see if we can do a reconnect.
And now you just dropped out. Yeah. It's everybody having technical issues tonight.
It's a nightmare. Well, I saw you'd frozen, so I decided to disconnect and reconnect just in case it was my connection that was the issue, but
yeah.
We are where we are tonight, which is not a.
I'm wondering whether there is genuine internet issues tonight. I'm really wondering. Yeah. I'm wondering whether there are genuine other more wide-ranging internet issues tonight. It does seem a little bit weird.
Yeah, well,
everything's going a little bit off. But I think, Des, to be perfectly honest, with the tech problems we're having, we may be better off just saying, right, well, that's it. We've got a responsible party. Everybody knows what's going on, and we'll try and do it all again next week instead.
No, I agree. Absolutely right, Leigh. I think there's just one question that we should address before we leave. Gary Young's just come into the chat box, and he's asking whether there's any news of any APAT Team Championship events next year. Well, I guess specifically the APAT schedule for next year. Obviously something that we're working on. I think we're pretty close to being able to talk about the first event. It's pretty excited about it. But I have to say, Leigh, things have gone a bit sort of belly up for poker even in the last few days. Some big events.
Yeah, I mean, two weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we were kind of like got some plans, just getting it all finalized, talking to venues, thinking this is all going to be good, ready for next year. And then, what's happened in the last week or so with events, now getting cancelled in Europe again and lockdowns in countries, it does kind of start making you wonder quite what's going on and what might we be looking like in the new year. But we'll carry on making the plans we're making. And as soon as we can let you guys know what those are, we will do.
Yeah,
but it is a little bit kind of watch this space a bit at the moment.
It's a bit odd. The big news this week, Leigh, and I hate to say it because this was an absolute sort of a ton of content for us over the last year and a half. But the big news is the return of this fellow.
Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Naga Manchetti and Charlie State.
Our headlines today: the United States and Australia join the list of countries banning flights from southern Africa after confirmation of a worrying new variant of coronavirus.
A worrying new variant of coronavirus. COVID's back, baby.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know, right? We don't know
I
a
don't
lot
think
about
it ever went away.
Yeah, it never went away, but it seemed to go away in people's consciousness. Largely, we were back to we were going to football games, we were doing all sorts, but it does seem like this new variant, could be it could be a tester for us. It could be a tester, and it's coming at the wrong time, as we get into the depths of winter. So I don't know whether that's going to have any impact on our schedule for next year. But as Leigh said, we've certainly got the first event, which, will be a big one, locked down. We were just pretty close to announcing it. We'll have to wait and see. Right.
Yeah, this is just kind of sums up the night, I think, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we are going to take our leave. It has been I'd like to say it was a pleasure, but it wasn't a pleasure. We will see you next week, same time. Please, God, everything will be working. Our apologies again. And, join us from tomorrow evening for next week's leaderboard events. And, have a great week.